Should be a red microphone down on the bottom in front of you.
Yep. There you go.
Yep. Welcome, Steve Cona.
Thank you. I can't see myself. Hold on a second.
Are you on your phone?
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. So welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for agreeing to do this. Again, we're hearing from both candidates and voters that they're getting the same 2-minute answer over and over again, and they'd like to know a little bit more in depth. So our format today is, I do have 7 questions, but you don't have to get through all of them. You have a 20-minute time limit for the whole interview. That's the only time limit. So you can talk as little or as much about each thing that you want. And if we do get through all 7 questions and there's time left, then the floor is yours. You get to use your whole 20 minutes. So
Great.
The first question will show up on the screen in just a second when I publish it. And so the first question is, tell me what you love about public schools.
Well, I will tell you, I am a product of Hillsborough County Public Schools. I went to started my career at Carrollwood Elementary School, and then back in the day when we had 6th grade and 7th grade centers, I went to Lockhart. Then I went to Oak Grove, and then Adams Middle School, and then finally Chamberlain High School. So I'm a big advocate of our public schools. I think they are the best choice for all of our students. And it's our job as leaders of this school district to make them the best choice. And that means putting as much resources into our classrooms as we possibly can.
Okay, the next question is, what are the attributes of an effective school board member, and which attributes are your strengths and which do you struggle with?
So that's a great question. And I will tell you that one of the things that's not in the school board job description is visiting schools. And one of the things that I've made it my mission is to create relationships with all of my principals and all of my leaders in my school district. I believe as a school board member, you can't do your job effectively unless you are at schools and going into classrooms and seeing the work that's being done by our teachers and our students. I've been an advocate for being in schools. That's how I figure out where all of our issues are and how I can better advocate and make the schools a better place for them to be. And I think, what was the other part of the question, Melissa?
What ones do you struggle with? Are there things that make an effective school board member that you struggle with?
The one thing I struggle with as someone who comes from the private sector and the business community is patience. Sometimes you have to be a little bit more patient and to get things done. But I think that when you put together a solid plan, I'll give you an example. Alonzo IB was one of the things that I was most proud of in my first year and a half. The first time I mentioned Alonzo IB, I got a lot of no's and a lot of roadblocks to making that happen. So then you have to kind of take a different approach. You have to prove that it was a good idea. So we did a lot of data searching. We did a lot of numbers. We ran a lot of calculations, and we proved to the powers that be that putting the first IB program, high school IB program in Northwest Hillsborough County was a good idea. And the minute that the data backed up, what I was saying, they went pretty quickly. And now I'm happy to report that Alonzo IB will start this fall, and I'm very excited about that program.
Okay, so this shouldn't be a surprise coming from the Alliance for Public Schools, but what does family and community engagement, what role does family and community engagement play in public schools?
Yeah, I think it's a huge part. And we know that schools that have great parental and community involvement are the ones that succeed. So what we have to do is we have to model that behavior with some of our schools that don't necessarily have that same luxury. So we have to build wraparound services to some of these schools that don't have that community support. I'm very proud of the work that's been happening in my district, in the town and country area. We've built and wrapped around support and built communities in these schools, partnerships with the Boys and Girls Clubs, partnerships with our host programs. We are really building the services that parents can rely on in those districts. And once you build support from the parents then become a more engaged community stakeholder in their schools. So we've seen turnaround, Town and Country Elementary, Webb Elementary, Alexander. You build communities around these schools and those schools end up flourishing. So there's been some great examples of that. We need to do a better job in our school district of replicating some of the models that we have that work in our school district and doing those in our high needs areas.
So the next question is, if you are elected to serve this term on the school board, how do schools, the district, and the community look different in 4 years?
Well, I think one of the things that we had the opportunity to do that not a lot of school board members have the opportunity to do was to hire a superintendent. We hired a new superintendent from outside of the school district. We hadn't done such a thing in 50 years. And putting a fresh set of eyes on a school district has really, in a very short period of time, paid dividends, because we can look at things that we've been doing that haven't been working and mix in new things and ideas that they know have worked. One of the things that I'm most excited about is that our new superintendent has the experience in turning around school districts. He turned around Clay County. We do have some schools that have been, they've had a tradition of not being at the same expectation as some of the other schools in our school district. So for our superintendent to come in and really look at those transformational schools that we can actually move the needle and become an A school district. So I think in a very short period of time, once we get past COVID and we get kids back in schools and we have instructional leaders in our schools and instructional leaders that understand turnaround, you're going to see this school district flourish in the very near future. And I'm very excited that in a very short period of time, it's my belief that with this new superintendent and putting in the new programs that we're putting in place, that this is going to be an A school district in a very short period of time.
Okay, so the next question is, what kind of school board member are you and will you be if reelected?
Well, I'm very hands-on, and as many folks know, I take a hands-on approach to being a school board leader. I just don't show up to our monthly meetings and vote yes or no. I mean, I really want to make an impact in these schools. Some of the things that I noticed when I first came into the district is that we had inequity in some of our schools. We had schools in my district that didn't have covered courts. Some schools had covered courts. And that was one of the things that I took notice of right away, because you have during school, there's a lot of outside time, and it's very hot in Florida. And we have a lot of our elementary school kids that didn't have the benefit of being able to go outside every day. So covered courts was one of the things that if you weren't in schools and you weren't a school board member and you didn't see that issue, that's something that would never happen. And now all of our elementary schools are going to have covered courts. And I owe that, to be quite honest, to being in schools and seeing, and I ask principals right to their face, what do you need from me to make this school great? And, out of the schools that didn't have covered court was always number one on the list, because kids need that time to get outside, enjoy fresh air. Our PE teachers need to be able to teach physical education in an environment that is comfortable. And, being in schools, being hands-on and getting things done for our schools is one of the things that I'm most proud of. I don't just wait to get invited to things. I go and I try to make a difference. I go to PTA meetings. I hear what's going on in the schools. I'm very hands-on, and I take it. I take ownership of the schools that are in my school district, and I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep fighting for every single school and every single student to make sure that they have the best educational experience they can possibly have.
What does constituent outreach and constituent services look like under you as a school board member?
Well, it kind of goes back to the last question that I just answered. It's kind of having a pulse as to what is needed at schools. You can name a school in my school district, and I can tell you what their immediate need is. And, that's one of the things that, I'm most proud of. So when I'm fighting for example, we have a lot of schools that have outdated technology. We know what schools that, have recent technology, what schools have outdated technology, and being able to advocate and help our leaders make decisions on where to best allocate, those funds. That comes from direct outreach to schools. Parents, teachers, they know that they can reach out to me when they have issues, and I will do my best to help and make it the best experience for every child.
Hey, you're going through them quickly, so you're gonna have some time. The last one is, what are the responsibilities of the school board and individual school board members related to public education advocacy?
Yeah, that's a big one. When I got elected, one of the things that I noticed, and I come from the government affairs background, I do that with my other job in the construction industry, and I know that we have to be advocates in the construction industry. So one of the things when I got on the school board, I noticed that we were kind of just going along to get along when it came to advocacy. We weren't really making any requests for Hillsborough County. We were fighting for education, but we weren't fighting for the needs of our students in Hillsborough County. And what we've done as a school district is we've beefed up our government affairs team. We have lobbying firms that we've contracted with that are really going out and working with us so we can say, we need money for STEM initiatives. We need money for technology. We need money for dual language programs. We need money for ESE populations. We need extra funds because of the populations of students that we have. You have to go to Tallahassee and you have to ask for the money. If you don't ask for it, you end up not getting it, and you have to be at the table in those discussions. So I'm very proud of what this board has done in a very short period of time to beef up our advocacy wing of our school district. And I look forward to getting some really big wins in the very near future for our school district. And not just education in general, but actually needs that are going to meet the needs of our students in Hillsborough County.
Okay, so you still have 8 minutes left. So you went through them very quickly.
Awesome.
So the floor is yours. You can do one wrap up. You can talk about a couple of issues you want to, but you have about 8 minutes to finish up however much of that time you want to take.
Great. So, one of the things that is my passion is career and technical education. It's been something that I ran for the school board my first time because I wanted to expand career and technical education programs in our schools. We've done that, but we can do a whole lot more, and we need to do a lot more. And what that requires is it requires funding, because right now there's no funding to teach career and technical education in our middle schools. We have to work with our legislators in Tallahassee to ensure that career and technical education is fully funded and our districts have the opportunity to expand those programs. I'm proud of the work that I've done with expanding programs at Lato and Middleton, but we need to do a lot more. We need to expand programs throughout the district and throughout our middle schools, because our kids need to be prepared when they exit Hillsborough County Public Schools to either go into a career and be highly skilled, or to go into college and pursue their dreams and higher learning. So career and technical education has been a big part of what I plan and continue to do. The other thing that is near and dear to my heart is we need to do better with our ESE population. I can tell you that the amount of students in Hillsborough County that are on the autism spectrum continues to increase. And I don't believe that Hillsborough County Public Schools has the resources to support those students. So one of the things I'm going to fight really hard for in my next term, and as I'm continuing this term, is try to build a K through 12 school for children on the spectrum. That's one of the things that is important to me. I don't think Hillsborough County Public Schools has anything like that. I would like that program to work with partnerships with USF, make it a innovative technological school that really helps our children that are on the autism spectrum, because I think a lot of those kids don't have the resources they need. So it's one of my pet projects that I hope to work on in the next 4 years, and and I think that we can get that done. But with that, in career and technical education, those are the two main things that if we can just get the funding, those things can happen. And if we don't get the funding, then we need to work with our private providers to kind of help us bring these programs to our public school systems. But other than that, look, it's been an honor and a privilege to represent this school district for a year and a half. I would be honored to continue for another 4 years. I would love to work with this new superintendent to see the turnaround happen in this school district. I think we're really close. We're on the right track. And in 4 more years, this district is going to be well better off. It's already better off in the last year and a half. We're going to go to a lot of, we're going to see a lot of unique things happen in the next 4 years. And I just want to be a part of that.
Okay, I want to thank you. I usually do this at the beginning and I forgot, but just for transparency purposes, I do want to state that since Mr. Cona has already served on the school board and we work closely with the school district, I do know him. I'm trying real hard not to give any kind of reaction to any of these videos, but if anybody sees anything in my reaction, I just want them to know that I'm being transparent, that of course I know you, because I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't reach out to school board members. So we do speak on occasion and we have worked together, but I thank you.
You bet.
It's really just people wanted to hear something a little bit more. So we're trying to do this. The goal is to have them all up